going on, guys? It is Carly here bringing you another weekly dose of horror, and today I'm going to be talking about The Beyond from the year 1981, of course a Lucio Fulci film, and of course the second movie in the Gates of Hell trilogy. Reason I'm talking about this is because I have City of the Living Dead, and this is the one that comes after, and I put my movies, in order of, if they're a trilogy or franchise or whatever, rather than alphabetical order when it comes to that type of stuff. So, already talked about City of the Living Dead in, I believe, my previous 31 Days of Horror that I just did, so if you want to check that out, you certainly can, but today we're talking about The Beyond, and the idea with this one is, basically, there is a murder that takes place, I forget the exact year, I think it was 1927, perhaps, and this painter, artist is murdered in this hotel, and reason being they think he is a warlock, so he is killed, and then I believe it's like 50-ish years, I think it's 54 years to be exact, years into the future, this woman inherits the exact hotel, and she begins doing renovations on it, and that basically unleashes the, gates of hell. It's believed to be built over one of the gateways to hell, and doing the renovations kind of reopens that up, and people start, getting killed and succumb to this gate portal to hell. So, that's the idea there. Saw this one once before, I think it was just last year, actually. I think I got this DVD from Austin, and I think it's a solid movie. I'm not huge on my Italian films, but I do think this one is pretty good. Not a very difficult plot to follow, which I always, appreciate that with Italian movies, and it's got, the good gore. Lucio Fulci's big on the whole eyeball scenes, or I think there's a few, actually, in this movie, as well as some other pretty gruesome scenes. There is a part involving acid, and I always think that's pretty gross, and it's kind of like acid and blood combined, and this whole scene about it that I think is pretty gnarly and disgusting. And there's also one involving tarantulas that is pretty nasty as well, so it does really good with those types of scenes. Storyline is decent as well. Not my favorite. I can't really get too into this movie like other people do, but at the same time, like I said, it's a pretty simple story to follow. Pretty much just another one about the gateway of hell opening up and these people trying to kind of investigate what is going on. So, not overly difficult. I think, the main girl, not really the main girl, but the blind character is terrifying. Just the way they kind of white out the eyes. You get a few, that's kind of the big thing in the movie. You have a few characters that once they're like taken in, they become blinded, and just the white over the eyes, it always kind of creeped me out. And no offense to actual people who are blind, but just the way they do it in this movie, they put they make it like completely whited out, as you can see there, and I actually think that's really creepy and really effective. And so I do dig that aspect to it. The ending I also think is very downbeat and eerie, and just the way it's done, and the scenery is really well executed. It looks like how you would, I don't want to give the movie away, but it looks like how you would picture something like that being, I guess, without going into too many details. And I think it's a pretty terrifying sort of ending when you really think about it. So overall, I think it's a solid movie. Is it one that I really would want to rewatch a whole lot? Probably not, because I'm not super into these types of films. That's just really me. But as a movie itself, I think it's good. The plot's not overly difficult like I find with a lot of other Italian movies, so that's a plus in my book. Some people like that more investigative, over-the-top stuff, but there's not like a million characters in this movie to really follow either, so that kind of helps. So overall, decent film, really good film, honestly. I give it an 8 out of 10, and thank you guys once again for joining me here for this weekly dose of horror, and as always, I'll see you next week.